Welcome back to the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. After we see the news you need to know about, we run you through the fan Q&A, we answer fans questions. There's not a ton of news to talk about. It should be a quicker episode. There's really no new. So we'll run through. Let's run through the injuries first. Bradley Chubb is not returning this week. Mike McDaniel said in a press conference he hopes that he will practice next week, which is good news. Maybe by the time we play the Patriots at home, he'll be back, which will be pretty awesome. Javon Holland is a game-time decision versus the LA Rams, which is good news. I know a lot of people like McMorris, the rookie out of Cal. It would be interesting to see what he could do. Maybe honestly, if Javon can come back healthy, Jordan Poyer, who has been kind of, not even kind of, but he's been up and down. He's had, I feel like before the disaster that happened in this game, for the most part, he's been pretty good. I think his worst game was definitely the Cardinals game. The Cardinals did everything they could to get a matchup with him. So yeah, maybe he has been more down than up, honestly. I think what is his best games were probably the Bills game, even though he messed up pretty bad, and maybe the Colts game. Other than that, yeah, he's, we've had pretty bad luck with safeties opposite Javon Holland. So if Javon can come back, maybe they do a little bit more of a youth movement in the back end. Probably not, but I guess it would be interesting. Zach Sealer is coming back, which is great news for the defensive line, which has actually done a pretty good job and has surprised me even with the depth of the defensive tackle position when it comes to stopping the run. I thought it was going to be way worse than it was, and people like Peely, even Deshaun Hand, Pill, I can't remember, maybe I don't think his name's I don't remember how to pronounce his name. It's either Pill or something. I think it's Peely or something. He's done good when he's had to be in the lineup. Obviously, Calais Campbell has been the saving grace for the defensive line, and it'll be nice to have Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell back in the middle of the defense. Yeah, that's it for the injury news, I believe. I don't think there's any other one. It seems like Austin Jackson's going to be okay. Hopefully, maybe things will change by the time the game starts, but he's been really good this year. Brewer has been really good in the interior. The offensive line has gotten way better as the season's gone on, and they're playing at the highest level right now. And it's unfortunate because, what's happened the last 3 weeks. We just had, just nothing has really went our way in any of these games, unfortunately. So we'll start with the first news story. Really, there's only one. The Dolphins took a lot of trade calls for Calais Campbell. It was rumored for a long time. And, I know that our record isn't good right now. We're still a fun and, I think, good football team. And something about Calais, and I didn't even want Calais here. Not that I didn't want him here. I just didn't, everybody was making a huge deal about it. And how much of it, at least the beat writers were like, oh, this is how much this guy's going to, help. And definitely was wrong about that. He's been really, really good this year. And it would be nice, I think, for him to finish at least a year. It'd be nice to even get him back another year. I doubt maybe it will happen. Maybe we can work something out with him, depending on how we finish the season. But he's been great. Just having him around, I think, as a fan is fun. And his play on the field was great. And obviously, he's a really good locker room. So for a locker room guy, he's got a lot of history in Miami. So he's been great. So I'm glad he wasn't traded, and he gets to at least finish the season a Dolphin this year. That's it. I think that's it for the news. There's really, I'm telling you, the Bradley Chubb stuff is good. We need him back, and I think that's one of the reasons that we've kind of struggled in the fourth quarter, especially to close out games, is we just don't have enough playmaking on the front seven, especially when Zach Sealer got hurt. There just really wasn't enough there. Now, Chop Robinson almost did it in the fourth quarter. If it wasn't for a bad penalty, maybe we could have closed that out, or who knows what would have happened. As the pug in the background is he's sneezing. Hold on 1 second. And we already had, and still do, have a really good pass defense, ranking wise, and just in general. And Anthony's done a great job of mixing stuff up on third down. Who knows how good the third down defense could have been with the at least Jalen or Bradley, and if they were both on the field, then you have Chop and rotation, which is pretty awesome. Clay and Zach inside. And, that would have been pretty mean. But that's been a problem. Chop, like I said, showed up in that fourth quarter. Just, obviously Jordan Poyer. Just an awful way for that game to have gone at the end. Everything that could have went wrong. In the worst possible, insane amount of ways. Even playing defense, and they only needed a few. I mean, they ended up kicking a 60-whatever-yard field goal, but we played really good defense to give us a chance at least in overtime. And again, shout out to Anthony. Done a great job coaching his team, coaching his defense, even with that, not even the full roster. He's done a great job of personnel and coverages and game planning. He's done a really good job. But that has been a problem, is just the playmaking up front. Now, let's get into the game. The Dolphins fall to the Buffalo Bills 27-30. Haven't beaten them since 2016. Every Dolphins fan knows that, or at least on the road. They haven't beaten Buffalo since 2016. Was a great game. I think we'll start offensively. And again, people who are ignorant, and I swear it hurts my brain. The Mike McDaniel hate really bothers me. I thought this was one of his best coaching jobs that he's done. This was a really good game plan. The execution was phenomenal. A lot of the plays that we called require really good execution. I think, to be honest with you, the last few weeks, even dating back to the Colts game, have been some of his best coaching and game planning that he's ever done. And the players are getting much better, and especially since the beginning of the year, of executing. He did a great job of calling, and again, this is something that people have criticized him for, is calling up plays against the Sean McDermott defense. And I thought, honestly, now that I think about it, it's probably the best, definitely the best coaching job he's done against Sean, that's for sure. And it was just a really good game plan. Tua played phenomenal on the road in a very loud environment. Barely missed a pass. He was 25 of 28, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns. The running game was still really good. The Dolphins rushed for 150 total yards, or 149 total yards, averaged 6 yards per play. Beat out the Buffalo Bills in total yards, 373 yards to 325. The Bills did not eclipse 100 rushing yards. Emmanuel Ogbah made some really nice plays in this game. So let's stick offensively. I'm kind of getting off track. Tyreek Hill had made his most impact, especially against the Bills, in a long time. Last year, he was pretty much non-existent in the games that we played them. And he's they've always kind of done a really good job of taking him away, and he made some really big plays and big moments. Same thing with Waddle. Tua just had a great game. And again, with the Mike McDaniel stuff, I don't get it. He's a great coach. He's had to deal with a ton of injuries in major places, from the quarterback to the pass rushing unit to the offensive line. We've dealt with every major injury you could this year. And I thought, at least in my opinion, he's done a really good job. And he's a really good offensive coach. People, to the point where people want to take his play calling away, but he's still getting criticized. It's not Mike's fault. And it just, we didn't have enough to finish. And again, and some of it was just, we didn't bounce our way. I mean, you want to talk about a kicker who not only missed an extra point in this game, but has been struggling kicking field goals all year. And hits a 60-plus yard field goal. So, it is what it is. I think it's encouraging for sure, the improvement this team has shown. And it sucks we haven't gotten, the injuries have happened the way that they have. And just, because I think this is a good football team. It's a really fun team. I think Tua has proven his worth to the franchise, especially with how much different the team looks with him and without him. He's just a really, really good player, great player. His ability to read the field, throw with accuracy and anticipation. He made some great throws in this game, especially the one to Waddle in 3rd and long in a big moment. Made big plays on a lot of 4th down scramble, 3rd down scramble, finds Waddle in the end zone. He played really, really, really good. And the offense as a unit, I think, looks really balanced and just really all around a good team. And Jonnu Smith has been a godsend. He's really opened up the playbook in a lot of ways and already has chemistry with Tua. He's been great. Aaron Brewer has been phenomenal. He's really physical. I love the way he plays the game. Kind of reminds me of Richie Incognito. Really brings a physicality and meanness to the offensive line in the running game, which is nice. We haven't had a play like that since Richie, who's just physical in the interior offensive line. That's really led to us having this balance. This is honestly the most balanced team Mike has had when it comes to running the football, throwing the football. I don't think we've ever really seen this balance. I think a lot of that has to do with Jonnu Smith, for sure. All the different things that they can do with him in the run-pass game like I said, has really opened things up. So offensively, I think we're great. And it's hopefully, and I don't even want to say it, but hopefully we can stay healthy there and continue to kind of push. Hopefully we see some more Odell stuff. That's been kind of quiet. But Jonnu's done a great job of just being that third guy. So hopefully we can see more. They just got to get Odell involved in the red zone more, in my opinion. That's really where we need him to kind of come through. Him and Jonnu Smith, and I think have to be the red zone guys, and we have to look for them more in the red zone in certain situations, which we've done a good job with Jonnu with that. We really have. We've done a lot of things with him in the red zone. But like just maybe throwing some more fades to Odell, especially if you're close to the goal line or you're inside the 10. That puts a lot of stress on the defense, even if he's in the slot. So hopefully we can see some more. That's the only real thing that's like, I wish we could see more of that, is just Odell. That's pretty much it. We definitely have to hit on Raheem Mostert. Don't really know. I mean, again, I think that's a great example of how this is definitely Mike's best game plan against McDermott, because they were so lost in that second half on that first drive. I mean, we were literally doing what we wanted at will. They could not stop us, which is a great sign because they've had an entire half. I was worried about that watching the game. I was like, okay, we've done a great job offensively. We have the lead going into half 10-6. How are they going to come out and adjust? And usually, especially when we've gotten ahead of the Bills, we kind of wilter offensively. This is the best we've looked offensively against this team, and they have a healthy defensive line too. They had Ed Oliver, they had Von Miller, they had Gregory Rousseau, and they just could not stop us, especially on that drive. That was like, man, we really opposed our will, and then it ended in a Raheem Mostert fumble, and then that just got them back in the game. But yeah, that drive was like kind of a statement drive, which was just ruined by a fumble. But I think that drive is a great example of how well Mike was doing and how well the game plan was working, and Tua was just dealing. So great, and I think this is hopefully gives the team some confidence, even though honestly it should. It's like, yeah, we lost, but it was like, I mean, we played really good football against one of the better teams in the NFL. And a really good front that I think the offensive line should be really proud, because they did a really good job against. That's as good as a defensive line can get in the NFL. Those are 3 really good players up front for them, and we really nullified them the entire game. So, and it's a defense that we struggled against at times, and we really, I mean, that was a drastic improvement between the execution, the game plan, and really dealing with how they match up with us. I think it's just a really, and again, Mike shouldn't get any hate for that at all. It's just really frustrating. And again, I guess it's just thank God fans don't make decisions. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Jalen Wright moving forward. How does that affect Raheem Mostert? I doubt it will. And honestly, I'm not really it's weird. I'm mad that the fumbles have happened, but I'm not necessarily mad at Raheem in a weird way. I don't know why. But if this was any other Dolphins player, I would be pretty livid. But he's a great player. He's still probably the best running back we have in terms of just vision and knowing the system and stuff like that. I mean, Devon is probably, I don't know, it's an interesting conversation to have. A-Chain's probably better at this point because he just does so much and he's so talented. But Raheem really does bring a different dimension to the team. And Jalen Wright, I don't know necessarily if he's ready. Sometimes, especially in this Bills game, you could tell he felt the weight of the game on some of his runs. Even though he played well, you could kind of see he wasn't the most comfortable. And now maybe that has something to do with him just coming off the bench cold, because sometimes he's just coming in cold in the middle of a game that's in the third quarter. So maybe it was some of that too. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. It's hard to get everybody the ball. There's so many talented people on our offense. It's like it really is. Like there really, really is. And I think they've done a good job of trying to get everybody involved. But it definitely, you can tell it's like even watching the games, it's like it's difficult to do. But that's a good thing because, again, that's something the Dolphins have struggled with, is being one-dimensional. And I don't think they are anymore, despite their record. Defensively, well, I don't really know what to say. I forgot to mention in the news, David Long has been benched for Anthony Walker. That's going to continue into the Rams game. Anthony Weaver said that Anthony Walker gives us the best chance going forward. I don't know if and I think honestly it has more to do with the run defense than it does the pass defense, because if you go back and look at some of the big runs that we've given up, just it's communication issues. Two guys taking the same gap. It's like stuff like that. And David Long was involved in a lot of those things. So maybe Anthony, they just feel, and Anthony's a good athlete. So I mean, we didn't give up 100 yards rushing in this game. The tight ends really didn't kill us like they normally do against the Bills. Kincaid had 4 catches for 32 yards. So, yeah, that was the best we've really done. Dawson Knox had 1 catch for 5 yards. It's by far the best we've done against them. Their leading receiver was Ray Davis. Our pass defense is good. And just, it's even looking at these stats, Keon Coleman only had 1 catch for 21 yards. Cam Smith, who had a rough game against the Cardinals, when he played a really good game in this game. He did a really good job. He looked really, really good. So he kind of got baptized by fire last game. You can see why the Dolphins kind of have faith in him. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. This was a weird game. The Bills kind of remind me of old Patriots teams for some reason. They just kind of, they kind of just grind games out. And then Josh Allen makes a few insane, I mean, the play to Gilliam in the end zone, he just threw that in the middle of just a pile of people, and somehow he comes up with it. That play wasn't even a pass play. It was a quarterback run, and we blew it up. And maybe they were trying to leak out the tight end as a second option, but it definitely wasn't the first option. So yeah, we could not catch a break defensively. We did catch one, and that was the bounce by Keon Coleman. But yeah, every time we play the Bills, they just kind of, whether it's the Trent Sherfield, the ball is batted 50 feet in the air and it somehow lands perfectly in his hands, stuff like that. I don't know what it is, a 60-yard field goal from a kicker who's been terrible all year. It's pretty annoying. One of the dumbest penalties by a veteran safety. Well, honestly, I wonder if I don't know, maybe not. I was gonna say maybe in replay if they looked at it, but I don't really remember how egregious it was. It could have been. I've tried. There's little bit of a painful game to look back on. Devastating loss as a fan, and as a, when Calais Campbell on that last drive tipped that ball in the air, I was just praying for anybody to pick that off because I would have ended the game. But that Chop Robinson sack got me so hyped up. And then the penalty, and then another penalty right after, and then the 60-yard field goal. But I'm proud of them. I'm proud. I'm not like I'm the head coach or something like that. As a fan, I was proud of the way that they played, and offensively, and defensively, and moments there was good things. Even in the first half, it was a good half. We only gave up 6 points, yeah. It was definitely an improvement. The team's definitely getting better, which is undeniable. It sucks off, and I think honestly, and I know I do think our record would be different if Tua was playing. Like there's a lot of games like if you look back on, we definitely win with Tua. The Seahawks and Colts games come to mind. They would have gotten destroyed if we had Tua. Like they really would have. They would have gotten absolutely annihilated. So that's 2 wins, that it would have kept us in the thick of it. That's for sure. But we're a good football team. I do have faith in this team to make a run, and I'm excited. And they're fun. They're not. This isn't a bad team. This isn't a bad. Even the record's bad. Even though the record's bad. Even when we were like 1-7 or 0-7. I think we were 1-7, or 2-7. And we ended up finishing 9-8. That team sucked. That team was bad. It was a grindy, great coaching job, but it was a grindy defensive fest where it wasn't the most fun. Defensively, we were fun, but it wasn't the funnest team in the world. Other bad teams that we've had, like unwatchable teams, like 2018 comes to mind. One of the worst seasons I've as a Dolphins fan ever. That season sucked. So bad. Even though 2019 was a tankathon, at least that year we finished really strong. This team is just fun. Defensively, there's fun. Offensively, there's fun. It's not like a Vic Fangio, like what the heck are we doing the same cover 4 over and over again, 4-man rush. And, it's not. It's creative. It's well coached. It's a good team. It's fun. So it sucks we're losing, but we were, I think, a good football team. If we were bad, I would say. I mean, we've had plenty of seasons, me doing this, that I would say that. 2018 is one of them. I hate that season so much, but 2020 was the year we won the loss. The 9-8 year wasn't great either. That year was super frustrating. That year was really, really frustrating. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's a good football team. Offensively, it's awesome. It's a really fun team, and I do think we can make runs. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully, we can continue into Monday Night Football.